Hey, everybody, welcome to Someone Asked, the podcast from the Circle of Hope Pastors. Thanks for watching. I'm here with Johnny and Rachel, and I'm Ben. And we were asked this week, how do I figure out what to do with my life? Pretty big question, lots of different angles to come at it from. We're going to talk about it for 9 minutes. I'm setting the timer now, and see what happens. It's unscripted, and why don't you, Johnny? You just gave a sermon kind of about this, so why don't you get us started?
Well, I'm sympathetic to the cause. I think it's a big question right now, especially among millennials. Just a few ideas to even frame this conversation. College tuition costs more and more each year. Bills are higher and higher. Meanwhile, average income for millennials is lower. And so they're caught in a bind oftentimes if they're kind of going with what is typical for Americans after high school. And so the question, with all their debt and their unemployment or underemployment, what am I going to do with my life? I can barely find a job that'll just allow me to sustain it. Now there's a bigger question about my vocation or my cause or my calling. I'm happy enough just getting by. This is a hard world to live in. And so just to even kind of frame how we look at it, I'm sympathetic to the difficulty of coming to a conclusion about this, and also sympathetic to the idea that what you do to make ends meet is who you are at all.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend yesterday who wanted that deeper kind of calling, and she was lamenting not having like the cosmic 2x4 to the head to know what that is, and I think that is hard because it's often more like a nudge or a whisper that we can get from talking with people who know and love us. Like, I think it's good to start with what's already in your life. Maybe there's somebody you already know who could mentor you. Somebody who loves you could probably sit down and help you figure out what it is that really gets you going. So there might be like something already in the environment of your life that can help you discern what that calling is, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
I
that
think
it's important to know that. Am I getting an echo on you guys' side too?
A little bit. Keep going, Ben. You're okay.
I think it's important to know that there are a number of good things that you can do beyond just that one thing. You know, the cosmic 2x4 might knock you into several different paths. You know, it's kind of, I don't think that God is kind of pushing everyone towards one way. In the Bible, we see God choosing specific people for very specific tasks. Paul was chosen as the apostle to the Gentiles. Moses was chosen as the liberator of the Hebrews. So God does do that, but he doesn't do it with everyone. You know, throughout the course of history, we only have in the Bible, that's thousands of years, we have a handful of stories. Maybe not less than 100 people are chosen specifically. I don't know if that's true. You can fact check me later, but something like that. So the anxiety of trying to figure out like the exact right thing that I'm supposed to do, I think it's pretty debilitating. So I would encourage people to know, like, I think you're kind of getting at this, Rachel, that there's stuff already in your life, there are people already in your life that can help you, but there's not like one way you have to go. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even in your examples, Ben, Paul was a tent maker. I believe Moses was a shepherd. These people actually had occupations that weren't cosmically offered to them, but their participation in the greater cause, the family business, what we call a lot of times Jesus' world redemption project, how they fit into that, I really think that's your calling, and it may be more specific than that generality. So how you serve God and serve the church, I think, is central to what you're supposed to be doing with your life. That's when Jesus gives his disciples at the end of Matthew. When Peter and Jesus are talking in John 21, he encourages him and exhorts him to go feed his sheep and take care of his lamb. So I think God is kind of giving us this basic framework about helping people come home to Him in a world that pulls them in many directions.
I like that, the coming home, Johnny. I think it's becoming more and more of a countercultural, radical Christian decision to commit to a particular people in a particular time and a particular place, and do the redemption project with those people. But man, I highly recommend that. I think it's a lot of people move around for different jobs, but I think the calling isn't always doesn't always need to take us to another city, another degree, another country even. I know that Jeff and I have given up job offers in different cities and even abroad to stay rooted here with what God is doing here in Philadelphia with a particular group of people, and I have not regretted that decision. And so I think that's an option too. You could actually find your place in God's family with a particular people at a particular time and place and work it out there with them.
When I was giving this talk, someone during talkback said to me, well, a lot of this is easy for you to say since how you serve God is also how you make money. So for pastors like us who have time to broadcast videos about subjects like this, who get paid to do it, it's kind of is it easy for us to say?
Absolutely. This is way. I have it way more easy. I think so. I think it's harder, to figure out that when your vocation, as far as like your the way you're making money is different. This has been my dream, because I wanted that simplicity, and I think it is easier to like kind of sort that out in your head. It's not an easier job, and not everyone is called to it. But maybe everyone could be, and we'd have a lot more churches. We need them. uh, yeah, I think it is easier. You could give a counterpoint to that, though.
I mean, when I was it is easier for me. When I was a teacher, even I had like a moralistic calling to help teach urban youth. That was a calling from God too, and that was real for me. But even as I go back further, I'm actually in central Pennsylvania, and I'm hanging out with my high school friend this week. I remember what it was like to work at an amusement park, and that occupied a lot of my time. And it was very difficult for me to discern what my calling was while I was cleaning up a protein spill. So a protein spill is something gross. You can imagine what that is. They happen at the scrambler a lot. And how I even entered into that job was framed by God in certain ways. How I worked, how I smiled, how I related to people. So almost no matter where you are, I think that you may have an opportunity to represent Jesus as his ambassador, and as part of his body. So even keeping that in your mind and not sweating the very specifics which in this world and in this economy are not that controllable. Not everyone even has the privilege to choose what they do for a living. They just do what they have.
Mm-hmm. Johnny, you're making me think about Brother Lawrence, who wrote Practicing the Presence of God after doing the dishes for like 50 years or longer. And he learned a lot about his calling and his purpose in that simplicity, just being with God, doing his daily job, loving the people around him.
Hey, we're out of time. This is a really good topic. I'm sure that the conversation can continue. I'll just say an encouragement to all of you. Maybe our best advice is to ask the question, and to we're asking God, we're asking our community. We're not just doing it ourselves, and we're certainly not just asking the invisible hand or the market forces. Thank God we are saved from those.
Thank
If you like the
God.
video, you can like it below on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Facebook, you can share it, tweet it, whatever you want to do. We want as many people to hear this because dialogue keeps us connected and protects our gravity. And this conversation isn't just for us three; it's for you too. So keep it going. Love you.